My name is Diana Luna, and you're watching Todo Latino Show.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Todo Latino Show at 1500 Live, presented by Todo Wafi. I am your host, Rafael Fernandez. My co-hosts are here, Yovi, Daisy. Our guest has worked endlessly to elevate Latino voices. She is now the executive director of NALIP, the National Association of Latino Independent Producers. I am super excited and honored to welcome Diana Luna. Welcome to the Todo Latino Show.
Hey! Thank you for having me.
As I'm super fangirling. Diana,
yes, you are.
They know we were trying to prep for this interview, and I was like, that's the first question. All right, so I definitely want to know, like, your backstory. We love origin stories here, and I think it's, like, a really important part of the show. But I know that you were born in Mexico City.
Yes.
And I was just talking to Eli Vasquez, who's coming to Revolucion, and he was telling me that he's now got a place in Mexico City because he loves it so much, like the beautiful aspects of it there. What was it like for you and your family growing up there?
Oh my God. So yes, proudly from La Ciudad de Mexico.
Bienvenida.
And it's many years ago that I left home by telling my parents I'll be right back. Yeah, it was just
and
a
she never
work.
came back.
Don't
we
all? It was a work thing. It's gonna be quick. I'll be right back, and I never did.
Wow.
I'm still telling them that I will go back.
Ya vengo.
Yes, ya vengo. And it hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened because you know how the mysterious roads take you to places that you would never thought of. And when I was in Mexico, and actually I shared this at the summit, because I was reflecting a lot into how I am here with this ginormous responsibility and what took me here. And I think it was mainly my dad, that he was like every Sunday, instead of going to church, we went to a museum, to a concert, something that had to do with arts and culture, to all the
very cool.
film festivals at La Cineteca Nacional. And it was all throughout growing up, all throughout. And growing up, I told once, he was already much older, total adult, and I asked my dad, why do we keep going to these places over and over all the weekends? And he said, because art is what makes us human. And when you are in contact with the arts, you become a better person. You become someone that is aware of your surroundings. You become more compassive. You are aware of our differences and the things that we have in common. So that got totally stuck in my mind and thinking, you're right. And like that's why we come here, and mainly because there's no other species that have the appreciation of the creativity.
Yeah.
And there's no other animal that is creative, but we are. And that kind of set the path into me actually coming to the U.S., working with creatives. And from there, that has been always my career, making sure that creatives have a space so that people have access to arts and culture, so we can create social justice around the world, because this is how we connect. This is how we talk to each other, through music, through a film, through a paint. And sometimes we're not that aware of that, but that is interesting into who we are. And that's pretty much how Mexico has such an impact in my growing, because thankfully, in Mexico, there is so much, like free access actually to a museum. You're embedded in culture while you're walking on the streets.
Yes.
So I kind of always took it for granted until I moved to the U.S. And I realized that as an individual, I was not seeing who I was expressed in arts and culture. I realized that where are our Latino artists? Where are our Latino filmmakers? Where are they? And I was so confused by that, since I live on the East Coast. And from there, I started working into programs that, and it was just, I don't know, it's just like life takes you there right away. But it began all working through academia, that I was able to connect those two, like what's happening here, what in the U.S. is we don't take arts for granted, or film festivals should be part of what you do with your parents, right? And I began my career working in academia, developing programs to support the arts nonprofits and later everything that had to do with commercial art. And then I entered with the filmmaking aspect of it into how do we prepare creatives to advance their careers. Because also as a creative, you are not thinking of the impact that you can have because it's your need to express. You're needing to express who you are, the things that are worrying you, everything that is affecting your surroundings, and the ability to say it through writing, through film, through a paint. That's how you connect with humanity, right? But at times, that is, yes, always that's the priority, to communicate, but maybe not necessarily to make a living of it, or not necessarily aware of providing that visibility to the masses, to a wider audience. And this is the work that I love doing, into making sure that as a creative, you understand what is that path to develop your career. Because as creatives, sometimes what matters the most is your art in whatever capacity, rather than, I wonder how I'm going to pay the rent this month.
Yeah.
Or I wonder how can I be competitive? Because it goes kind of against it, because this is my piece of work. If you don't understand it, good. If you don't, I don't care. If I make a living, I don't care. No, we do care because it matters.
It matters, yeah.
The exposure. So that's how come my career got into.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that, because you have a degree in communications.
Yeah.
You have a master's in business
Yeah, wow.
administration, and then that's where you went into your master's for arts.
Exactly.
I was going to ask that.
Business.
But it doesn't,
Yeah.
I mean, and we're going to talk about NALIP, obviously, and the representation aspect, but some of the ones that you were mentioning, let's see, CGU initiated and oversaw the Latino Arts Fellowship, which aimed to increase and
For
position Latinos. And then LMU, which is an extension of Loyola Marymount University. And then you managed over 160 training job certificate programs.
Yes.
That's insane.
That was insane.
That is a
And
lot.
I could talk about it. Well, I still remember them.
All
like
of them?
just ask me. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
crazy.
yes,
And then the last one I think was, what is it, TFT?
Yeah, Tomorrow's Filmmakers Today.
That's the one that,
Wow.
and that one you're
Yeah.
doing for the Latino filmmakers.
Yeah, for Hola Mexico Film Festival.
That's
Yes.
crazy. And I'm excited that there are people like you that do that. Like, for instance, my kids are all in the arts. So my daughter's an actress. I have another one who's an artist. I can remember all the things they had to do for the grind in order to get to where they are now. Like, I remember building a basement studio, like an art studio for my daughter to be able, or not a basement, but like a garage. We literally put walls up so she can hang the canvases to try to support her in everything that she was doing, so she didn't have to go out there and pay for the studio. And now she owns a studio and all kinds. I mean,
That's
it's crazy.
wonderful.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that. Like, what are some of the things that you see from artists themselves that are some of the struggles that they're going through, that if you could change would be one of those things where you're like, yeah, this is some advice I can give that?
Yes, I think that we cannot separate arts, the aesthetics of professionalizing your career. I think I don't know why, but even at MFAs, I don't want to judge, but there are a lack of preparedness for just as simple as understanding a budget. The aspect of finance is so important for the arts, for the nonprofit world,
I noticed
for
that.
filmmakers.
I know that my daughter went to art school. She went to, what was it? No, it'll come to me. But she went to art school. One of the things that they didn't show her were some of those key things, like how to price your art, or how to look over the contracts, and how to
Look
deal,
over
like how the
contracts,
galleries and so forth. And the same with my daughter. She, as an actress, they didn't go over some of those things. It was always just about the promotion. Headshot, backstage, but never about the physical, like finance part of that.
The finance aspect of it, the legality of it. I mean, there are so many things around that makes you a relevant artist or relevant filmmaker that has to do with the people that is around that is managing your career. And if no one is managing your career, even way more important, so that you understand once you see a contract, oh, okay, this is not right. Or even when you're putting together a project, well, this is not feasible. I mean, we're never going to be able to cover that budget. Or not understanding marketing, your audience. And sometimes, again, the creatives are not necessarily inclined into thinking that way, because, again, it is about what comes from them rather than preparing for a marketing campaign and selling your work. But at times, it is also important to understand the nuances of your work, understanding who you are talking to, and how do you create a reach, because I think that is the main thing about our society, into how do we create access. And the access goes by an artist understanding how you're going to promote yourself, how you're going to
Yeah.
become visible.
Especially in this day and age. I mean, there's
more than ever.
because back then you didn't have social media, and it was like now social media is an intricate part. Like they ask actors now how many followers you have. Like it's
Yes,
insane.
it is
Yeah, it was
insane.
gatekeeping, in a sense.
Yeah.
Of accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I really
crazy.
love what you said about art. When I first interviewed Edward James Olmos, he said that the strongest art form is being in a theater watching something. And I believe that because a lot of people don't like going to the movie theaters anymore, right? But I still do because I appreciate the art of it. And I know what NALIP is about, and I'm curious, what is NALIP? NALIP, right?
Yes.
What is NALIP? Like, if you could go into depth
Oh,
about
absolutely. So, thankfully, nowadays we have different organizations that are supported of creatives, specifically of Latinos. And I think this is an incredible aspect of the world that we live now. But most important, all these organizations were also changing to adapt to the needs and to the new concept of our community. Not new, but our stronger concept of community that we're building. So, just to make a differentiation, for example, with LALIF or LFI, their focus is pretty much into youth and understanding that youth also have that potential and that support to be the next great filmmakers. But also they focus a lot into their film festival and other programs. NALIP is specifically into career development, access, and visibility of our members. So we have an incredible community of filmmakers mainly and executives nowadays that we come together, and through our resources, they have access to either workshops, incubators, career development programs, networking opportunities, and visibility through our platforms. So it's pretty much this membership organization that wants to bring community together in order to get the space that we
Yeah.
must have
Is
now.
it NALIP or NALIP?
Either
Or
way, I
either
mean,
or.
I call it NALIP. I think it
NALIP.
was
NALIP.
given as NALIP. NALIP, so we call it NALIP.
It depends. If you're saying it from an English perspective, it's probably NALIP.
Yeah.
Nal-
I
okay.
know,
And then if you're going
right?
for Latino, it's
Yeah.
NALIP. Just like
NALIP.
LALIP.
NALIP.
NALIP.
I'm pretty sure these people were like Lalif.
Where
Where you going? Go to the festival,
it's-
the Lalif Festival.
Speaking of Edward J. Olmos, something fun fact is that NALIP was founded 25 years ago,
Yeah.
and Edward was also part of that project
That
back
process.
then, where these all very incredible, strong, independent producers 25 years ago realized that there was about to be a boom of their work. They came together also to advocate for the rights of the Latino public broadcasting and understanding how they were gonna really create this environment of supporting each other. But like things like change throughout,
Yeah.
the years. But that was how it became to be. So.
Very
Pretty
cool. I know that you guys get like firsthand knowledge of trends. It's one of the things, like I pick up data, and as soon as it comes out, I start analyzing it. And everything seems to be like changing so much. Like, what are the most significant opportunities that you see for Latino creatives today?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been going through many years, or I will say throughout these 25 years for NALIP and other organizations, that we've seen that the access that Latino talent have into the industry, it's minimal. It has a little glances of successes and here, but not really. And it is a constant struggle that doesn't really get us.
It doesn't be steady.
It is a steady low, pretty much. But what it's very clear now is that after the pandemic, and we've seen again over and over cancellation of shows and things that we don't feel necessarily proud of in terms of the industry, what it's very clear is that we're entering a transformation within the industry and understanding what is next.
So you think that we're in an evolution right now, Diana?
I think so, and I am very curious into what is going to happen next year, because as we have released so much data about how the Latino audiences are the ones breaking the box office numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that, right?
Right.
So the data is out there. The data on the power of the Latino community financially, it's out there. But we also see that there's a lot of young talent that is rising, and they're coming very, very strong. So we have this foundation of understanding, okay, executives, studios realize that the potential on all aspects is here. What do you want to do with it?
Like we see ourselves in the front lines, but what is happening in the back end?
So in the back end, I think the most important thing that I feel it's a huge responsibility of what we do. It is supporting our executives and making sure that there are more hires in terms at any level really of executives, because I think that is the first like impediment into things to really create a change. And I kind of get it because let's say that we're in this room here and we have someone from Korea. Let's not go that. Korea, and comes and says, "Look, I want you to put this person on my show. He's great." How do I know? How do you know that this person is great? Oh, he's very, very funny. What if he isn't? What if he's totally inappropriate? What if it's someone, and you are going to be very cautious unless your best friend that he's a Korean guy will say, no, yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, come in.
You need somebody in the room that can vouch for that person and be able to,
You must have someone on that room to greenlight projects.
Who has an understanding and is able to.
Has an understanding, and not just asking you're asking your friend, but having that person at the table taking the decisions, and that we big time lack of.
Specifically producers, writers. There's a lot of producers, like in those
The
specific areas. Yes, showrunners, things like that. Very huge. I want to piggyback on what you were saying because like we had a huge here when it came to certain things like Blue Beetle, Flaming Hot, the amount of effort that Eva Longoria had to do in order to get Flaming Hot to be as successful as it was. But we do see what you mentioned, a lot of the cancellations, and I've been very vocal with it with Netflix and a lot of the other companies. Shows like Not Dead Yet, Mr. Iglesias, the horror Dolores Roach.
I
mean,
Free
Rich,
Primos was
Free Rich,
the ultimate.
Free Rich got me to write an article and send it specifically to the Latinx director of Netflix because we were never given access to promote it or even the tools to be able to do that. And the show came out in February, I think is what it was, and not even 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, they had already canceled the show, which was beyond me. And everybody who I spoke to just didn't even know the show existed or that it was a spin-off. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, like, what are your thoughts on why that is taking place?
So there are several aspects. I think the one that I will say is that we have these array of choices, right? When you go on your TV, just go to your TV and you're like, oh, this one, right? And first, the mystery of marketing and who makes it into that first line on your TV, right? And we don't really have data into those clicks and what is successful and what is not. So that is something to point out and into how can we find out more about the decision making,
more transparency and
what do you market and what you don't. But let's say that there is no marketing. Well, as a community of creatives, if I know that you have something out, my responsibility is to go turn on my TV and leave the show playing, even if I don't want to watch it.
I so agree with that.
And two,
people don't get that though.
So is that how it works?
Yes.
Like I honestly don't know. Like you have to watch things in order for it to keep
every play
going.
that takes place, especially on Netflix and on Hulu and on Disney.
Nielsen,
every single play is that's what they're going by. How many people tuned in because that describes the popularity. Yeah. I mean, I've said that so many times, and people are like, "Oh, but I'm not." I'm like, "No, you had a responsibility. They had the same responsibility with Encanto." Mm-hmm. Everybody waited. It had to become a TikTok sensation for people to finally start watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, people were stuck on representation. Like, it's insane.
It is insane. And I will also point out, like, people in the media, our journalists, our critics or anyone, why would you go in detail if it was the accuracy of representation or not, if it was good, if it was bad? Why would you do that to your own community? You support the work that we do, and later throughout the
Have
years,
the conversation
yes, but no.
in the heights.
I mean, who cares if it was well portrayed or not? You watch it, you support it, because if that happens, you are benefiting your creative community. You're creating more employment. You're creating more.
That stamp of approval.
I mean, we still watch other movies like
That suck, and you
that
still
suck,
watch
and you still
them.
watch them. Like Madam Web, that he didn't like, that I thought was
And
not.
it's okay
that
to
great.
have bad projects out there. It's fine. They're
It's inevitable.
But do you
Yeah.
think that they allow us to have, you know,
not yet. But
that,
even
that,
if that,
you know, once we do something, it has to be
and that is-
correct or
and
at
that
best?
is okay. So it doesn't have to be great either. It has to be supported.
They allow us to have that wiggle room?
It's not the allowance. It's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg,
Okay.
right? Because if we don't support it, then the matrix are not there. So therefore,
Well, they have an
it's
excuse
canceled,
now. Yeah. Now
right?
they have
Oh,
an
it doesn't make
excuse.
me any money.
Yeah.
Too bad, right? But what happens? I was just reflecting on that the other day. Inside Out 2. What would have
That
happened?
blew up.
What would have happened?
It's
if,
at the top of the
if
charts,
as
yeah.
Latinos we would have replicate the same acting of going to the theater the first weekend and breaking the box office with Blue Beetle.
Exactly.
Why didn't we? If we wouldn't, another different thing would have happened afterwards.
A lot of people came up with excuses for that because I know it was being promoted right when we towards the end of the pandemic. So there was a lot of literally the only people that can go promote it were directors and writers and so forth. So Sholo and you
Yeah,
know
the
George
actors
and all of
strike.
them, they weren't able to do it because of the actor strike. That's what it was. I had that same sentiment because I went to see it. I went to see it when we went to the premiere. And then I went with my daughter, I think is what, and I went to see it then, and then I went to see it again after the premiere, and then I took my son, I think, for that, and then we went, and as soon as it came on online, I think it was on Max, we streamed it to kind of show it, you know, the support. And I don't understand because for me, like some people will say, oh, but we weren't really, like, you didn't see it. You automatically shot it down before you could even see it. Meanwhile, you gave an unethical amount of support to Spider-Man No Way Home because Toby and Garfield and all them were on that show. And I saw Latinos there. There was a lot of Latinos. They didn't come out for Encanto, but a month later, they que por COVID, but a month later, they were all there con su máscara y toda esa vaina. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I
For
never
example,
understood
the
that.
movie The Longest Game. Have you guys watched that?
It's an amazing
I haven't
movie.
watched it because I haven't seen any
I just
promoting
saw
on
it.
it.
I just saw it come up on the advertisement for Prime, I think is what it is.
Yeah, it is now.
And I have it scheduled for tonight to go stream.
It's on Netflix too.
Is
I
that-
think.
is that what it is, on
just got
Netflix?
released, so that's where I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it. But I never heard about it. I was never
which is
aware.
crazy.
I just saw the advertising
yeah.
for it.
It is a great movie. It is a great movie, and it's a general audience reach. And again, it's not that we are dwelling on the Latinidad. No, it is just a good movie, as simple as it gets. And I think also has to do with how, as a community in the U.S., we are also manifesting of who we are and how do we create change. I think something that I feel very optimistic about it is that now as organizations we're coming together,
Yeah.
and I mean leadership has changed, and it's not that it was bad or good or bad, it is just it's change. And I think now we see a different level of urgency and understanding that it's only through the power of all that we can create change. And it is not about necessarily competing, as you were just mentioning before. It is not about my project, my festival, and no,
Yeah.
it is how do I support you in the a tiny little thing that you can do. It creates an impact. It creates a bigger impact. But like as we do right now with Blue Beetle, we really try to make a huge effort in, and this is the thing that we don't have a budget for it, neither of the organizations, but we were still calling everybody like buy your theater.
I remember that.
And let's publish this letter, and let's do this and let's do that. Who's paying for that? Not the studio, right? But that was not important. What it was important is to elevate it as much as we could together, and I think that the more that we get to do those things and amplify at its maximal potential, then we can create that perception and understanding to our larger community that might not be involved in filmmaking, to say, oh, yeah, let's just go support. Let's bring all my family. Let's get those 5 tickets.
Yeah, we did everything. We posted meme type promotions. We posted
yes.
video type promotions. We had our marketing team do everything that they could. When we went to the event that we were invited to, and we had spoken to Angel Manuel Soto, we posted up his reels and stuff that we were. I mean, we did everything to push everything that we could, and then it became a streaming sensation when it came out on Max.
Yeah, and the streaming did really well.
It's insane. It's almost like we were waiting. We couldn't support it in the theater. We were waiting for it to come out on the
Stream services.
on the stream services.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that really frustrates me when it comes to that aspect of it.
We gotta change it.
So
We're
what are your
changing it.
thoughts about diversity? I was looking, what are the upcoming projects that you have on your board? Especially because we see a lot of women, BIPOC filmmakers, storylines that reflects the diversity in Latinidad.
So I'm very excited because as well, also we know that Latinidad is so wide in terms of like, the concept and what it includes. But I also see that when we talk about diversity, and in this particular with the programs that we have in NALIP, we don't want to isolate our community by any means. Instead, we want to make sure that we're bringing everyone on board, that we have those conversations with all the BIPOC community. That's so important because at the end of the day, we all have the same struggle. And again, what happens if we come together as this unity where we are relating to our Asian community and anybody really. So one of the programs that we have and we're about to open in the coming month or so, it is, and this is, I think, I forgot how many times we have run this program right now, but that might be about the 4
Installment or something?
yes, of our diverse women of color. That is a program, and this is what I think is cool when I feel very optimistic about things, and I will tell you why. So we are having this program, and we provide $30,000 to a filmmaker to develop the project, a short film, and we select women of color. Regardless if you're Latina or not, you are part of this program.
Yeah.
And it's so empowering. And the projects, because now you got the funding, you can add more to it. You can really explore your ideas and make them happen. So it's incredible because you get the visibility. We promote as much as we can. Then we get the access into the film festivals and so forth. And they have had great results. So Netflix is the one supporting this program, and when I see that when I feel optimistic, is because I know that the people that are championing these projects at Netflix, they do care, and it is not as we might think. Oh, they want to just do the check, supporting diversity, DEI initiative. No, it is because they understand the impact. They understand how relevant it will become and how important it is also for their content. And that we understand what is that content that vibrates with the community, that is needed, that are very different stories that they might already have in their services.
Yeah, because we keep on saying that we're not a monolith. We have different stories. And it's like how we see ourselves in these spaces.
And I think it's like programs like this. It makes this happen because, again, if we go back into these terrible misunderstanding of what Latinos are, you're a narco, you're like struggling.
Stereotypes.
All the stereotypes, that is not a genre. We go, Latino content, this is what it's about. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's like you have incredible stories and then, you happen to be Latina, right? Or the writer, you might never find out that it was a Latina writing that. I have an incredible example about that just recently. well, not recently, but with Isa Lopez. She's Mexican. And True Crime, the show, you will never, ever, ever find out that you have a Mexican behind. But when she talked about it, she's saying that it was so important for her to be part of that show because she's so concerned about giving visibility to this disappearance of women. And she wanted to focus into that in a totally different environment, in a totally different, setting. But that is a problem that in Mexico and Latin America, los feminicidios. She cares so much about that. Through these stories, she's telling what matters to her.
Yeah.
And as an audience, we are not questioning it, but we're learning through it. We're seeing it through this show, and how everything transforms so beautifully. So with programs like Diverse Women of Color, that's what we are aimed to do.
Great.
Yeah. Well, we have many more.
You just expressed something that when I interviewed Rafael Agustin, it was literally the same logic. That Latino's not a genre, and for our stories to have an impact, we need to be able to kind of wave from that mindset and make horror movies or make movies or family movies or make animated movies, which can or cannot, depending on what you're trying to do, have Latino characters in it. Do you feel like because when we talk about all these cancellations and all these different products, do you feel like that's maybe one of the mistakes, that we're not making content that's relevant across culture, kind of like what's done by other entities and so forth, or that we're not making content that's relatable across the board? Like, I feel like a Latino family is no different than other families, with the exception of the little things that we have in our culture that separates who we are. But the problems are the same, and we don't really push. The struggles and the celebrations are the same.
Like, for example, it's hard to interrupt, but
No.
there is, like, I've been catching up with different variety of shows.
Yeah.
I want to say Rami. Rami is about an Arab, Egyptian, American. But the problems, the issues that happen, and I know the timing that the show took place, again, I can relate to it. I'm not Arab, I'm not Muslim, but the issues that he had with his parents, with his sister, with his friends.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can relate to the problem, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a problem specifically designed for that culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that this is what I feel also very excited about for the future, and it's because now, in terms of accessibility, we are becoming more acceptant on seeing other cultures on TV, but without questioning it. Right, all these Korean shows, right, that have been so successful. You're not thinking, oh, it's Korean. Now you're thinking, oh, this is really good, right?
Yeah, like convenience. Even though they throw their culture in there, like the show was just addicting to watch.
But it's so good that everything that is behind, it makes it just wonderful because there's so much behind. And I think I will give an analogy with an art piece. When you see an art piece, you will say, oh, I love it, or you don't. And when everybody loves it, most likely is because it's beautiful aesthetically. Why? Because the artist most likely has a lot of career behind.
Yeah.
There is a lot of context, not only within his art, but historically, his belief system, everything that had to happen for that to be on the wall. And then you're, as a random person, will go, oh, okay. And then you start looking closer and closer and closer until you understand what is that artist trying to say. And then you learn it, you accept it, and you then keep walking. So
same thing with movies and
it's
shows.
Exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So I find it fascinating when we're watching other cultures on screen, and we just take it. We take it.
Like, I love Fresh Off the Boat. It was an amazing show.
It's an amazing show as well. I mean, the family is incredible. And I think those are the ones, the content that we need. Are we making that content? We might, but because we don't have access, we don't really know that we are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the most strange problem ever, because I mean, to NALIP, we are presented with these amazing projects, and then we just scratch our head. I'm like, well, yeah, they're incredible, but how do we tear down that wall? So that you can get the visibility that is so needed. And And yes, out there we might have the ones that might not be as great, but there are so few of them that do we count? You know, like,
Yeah. I feel like NALIP has that issue every time that they're going through films when they're and I mentioned NALIP because I'm just a huge fan. Like it's
yes,
one of
I love their festival.
one of the things that inspired me for Todo Wafi and even Revolucion is the fact that, you know, I've gone to that festival, and just to see people's celebration aspect of their work on screen and afterwards, and just being on the carpet and things like that, it's just like truly inspiring to me. And I feel like as a community we should be celebrating more of that for each other,
Not just once a year.
Exactly.
yeah, like
the
there's
time.
just so many there's so
Exactly.
many instances of people who are making projects and they want it to be out there. Like we've been so implementing, like even the premiere that we're doing on the 19th.
Exactly.
Like we've had people who are influencers who have come up to us and say, hey, we're doing a short film before we go to festivals, we want to do a premiere, and we go all in. Like I get the red
You are
carpet
supporting
ready,
them.
I get the
You
theater
got
ready,
to.
we do it at the Culver City Theater or the Culver Theater, and it's their version of like their Warner Brothers, you know, or Netflix premiere, you know, and these guys who are coming this week are coming in tuxes. I don't know what that but
Hey, let them.
no, hey, he wants to shine on the carpet, let them do that con familia and todo. But I feel like that's such an important aspect for us to be a part of, is a celebration, not just when we
They're making it
have,
big.
No,
you know,
it gotta
these
be
giant
constant.
festivals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gotta be constant.
I feel like that would be a motivating factor for people to create more projects and to not be afraid to get themselves out there, if that makes sense.
And I feel like the more you promote these small films too, like the more people ask. Like I always see people when we posted our interviews for LALIF, people were like, "Where could we watch this? Like, when is this coming out?" And a lot of the stuff hasn't even been released yet.
Exactly.
Or can't be.
Oh,
because
he's
of
still
festivals,
seeing other
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still in other
festivals.
festivals, but it's really nice to promote your own people, I think. And
Yes.
on a different topic, I wanted to ask you, how do you see the role of technology with like AI and virtual reality and evolving in the entertainment industry?
So when everything was going on with the strikes, I understand and I see that there is a huge concern because of technology, how it's really taking over
Yeah.
a lot of employment, and the writers mainly. I think those are the most somehow affected. My take, it is okay if this is here and it's not going anywhere, because it was already here before even they call it AI the past 2 years. We were already interacting with it. It is into how do we prepare our community to be a step ahead, instead of the fear of this taking your job away or not becoming this writer because now it's taken over by just all these machines. Well, become an expert
That's what I was thinking.
on feeding AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that you understand how to manipulate the AI world, the better off.
If you break it down, it's just another tool.
It is a tool. It
And
is
your
a tool.
creativity.
And I think that it is here. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to become
Oh, it's just going to become more.
more.
I mean, it
and
keeps
more.
evolving.
Yeah, and is it good or bad? It's to be found out. But it's
Yeah.
the same with the tools that we have right now with the internet.
I mean, who's guilty of using ChatGPT here? Like for questions?
I mean,
Yeah,
I've used
everything.
it. I've used it for quite a few things that
Oh, yeah.
I want to get like a base on.
I'm not saying it's going to
Exactly.
take your job, but like you said, learn it and utilize it in a way where it's going to help you instead of thinking it's
and
going to take your job.
it does help.
Yeah.
But it helps as long as you are able to ask the right questions to really understand what is that you are looking for. So for that, you gotta be informed.
Yes.
And yes, technology. It's not this sci-fi movie that is gonna take over. Just yesterday, actually, I was told an anecdote that it
You
was.
just put
remember
something
we-
really
oh,
dark in my head.
Maybe I'm gonna give myself up. But remember when we had issues even with computers a long time ago?
Yeah, well, here comes the thing. So yesterday we went to Santa Monica just to try these new self-drive cars.
Yeah.
I forgot what they're called. The white ones that are out there with the big satellite thing. So we got in just for the experience, really. We didn't even need to go to Santa Monica, but we were like, okay, let's go there. So we jumped in the car. And yeah, it's pretty cool, just being sitting there and the steering wheel just like invisible man. It was kind of cool. So then we're almost about to get to Santa Monica, like 3 hours later, because the car goes really slow.
Yeah.
Oh
Has
my
to.
Lord.
It do respect every possible speed limit. So we were like going as slow as you could possibly think, and that was funny already. But then we come to we were about to get to Santa Monica, and then the train would pass by, and there was a car accident. And then the train,
As always, LA.
crashed this truck. The truck was trying to cross.
Oh.
So the car
Oof.
still had the indication to keep moving forward.
Oh,
I was like,
shoot.
I wonder, does the car understand that there is an accident? No, the car cannot understand that there is an accident. So the car just stopped there, and the police is like, move, move. And we're like, we can't. Like,
Oh
we
my
can't.
God.
No,
Yeah.
but move. Because we were
Wow, the
stopping the
sensors.
traffic. And the sensor will keep telling the car to go straight and would never understand that they needed to turn at a very easy right. It didn't understand.
Or
So-
read the whole situation.
No. So we had to call customer service. Customer service helped, and then like, okay, now we're gonna connect to the car, and then like give these instructions.
You had to go through that whole. There's no like turn off the automatic.
no,
button?
no, nada. So, and the police is like,
That's scary.
and then a car passed like,
Well, like I always been thinking back in the back of my mind, I'm like, when it comes to the roads, the structure, the infrastructure needs to facilitate. So
Exactly.
these vehicles can operate.
So is it considered an Uber? Is it like an Uber?
like
ride?
an Uber. So
Yeah.
bottom line is like there were people involved to help the car make that decision
Yeah.
to turn right.
To
Oh
turn
my
right.
No big deal. Turn right.
To make sense out of it.
To make sense out of it. And then we forgot a pair of glasses there. So again, we had to call people, and someone had to go find the glasses. Like, there's people involved, right? So again, is this taking away the job of an Uber driver? Yes and no. It's just that it's transforming into crazy
So the
people
Uber
that is
driver
customer service.
will have to be the customer service guy if they want
Because
to
you
turn
still
around.
need
Yeah.
human intelligence until today.
Human intelligence.
Human intelligence, your human creativity, how you replace creativity
A response
with
reaction.
Critical
technology.
thinking.
Things like
Critical
that, yeah.
thinking.
So I think this is a tool. We
Moral
gotta
of the story is no robot will ever replace us.
Hey, Will Smith warned us in
Exactly.
No.
iRobot. No, I'm just kidding.
but we gotta be ready. We gotta be
Yeah.
ahead of the game.
Wow. Don't take a ride.
I'm not riding that. I like full control.
So, with a good segue, so what are your hopes about? What do you see for Hollywood and beyond? Now that we put almost all ideas in, you know, integrating and happening.
We just had the our media summit. We're back.
Sweet.
Back into these amazing gatherings of creatives, and I just feel very optimistic without being cocky. Like, oh, life is gonna be fine.
You're not gonna be copied.
You know, but it's like that's how the world goes. You go up and down, and then we'll go crash again. Right now, I think we live in a moment in history that we've never experienced before. And I think it's for the best because we're forced to transform. I think we're forced to
wow,
have the
yeah.
difficult conversations. We're forced on like kind of survival mode. And this is where we thrive. And I see that now more than ever, if we don't come together as a community, we're not going to disappear, right? DEI might. The concepts of inclusion might, and all these words in the dictionary might disappear. But we're not. We're here, stronger than ever. I think we are understanding what the environment looks like, and it's just a matter of putting our heads down and get to work by being ready. And to me, ready means career ready.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to be as competitive. We have to be as fast. We have to be as, as powerful that we can possibly be together, because what is ahead is gonna be rough. It's rough, but I think it's when people really goes up as strives, and because then we got the challenge, and I think we're ready to take it.
Español, nos tenemos que poner pilas.
Yeah.
Nos tenemos que poner las pilas, and when you have that sense of emergency, I think you have no choice.
There you go.
I'm a big dude. I gotta get those D cells. Takes 2 or 3 people to get me going. So, I really appreciate this conversation. That was absolutely amazing.
That's fun.
Thank you for sharing that insight, because there's a lot. I deal a lot with the, Daisy's on the carpet and Yobi's, working with us on the show. And I deal a lot with the people who are trying to get access to be able to kind of promote a lot of the things that we're trying to do. And it's been really eye-opening to see how media companies work, distribution companies work. Mm-hmm. And, as a Latino, like in some instances, I'm like, why did we make that decision as a community not to do? And then in some instances, I'm always fighting on the background and on the forefront, through emails and stuff like, why did this take place? It would be a great answer for that. But you sharing insight gives us a lot of that, even in the wing. So I thank you for that.
Thank you for the invitation. I think like this is different moments in history that we have to embrace. Yeah. I feel optimistic again about our community because again I feel that the strength of our members at NALIP, the talent that is out there is incredible. So we have all the tools, and again things might change, but we're here. We're not going anywhere.
How do they do that process? If somebody wanted to become a member of NALIP, like how would they do that?
Oh, it's super easy. And actually, it's kind of fun because when you go on our website, you just click become a member. It's actually pretty affordable, and that gives you access to everything and beyond, meaning our events,
check that out.
the networking opportunities, discounts or free application to the programs. And also we have office hours, which I picture it with a red phone, but I mean, there's no red phones, but it's to me in my mind, the concept was of a red phone where if you have a question, something about your career, that you need immediate assistance with something that has to do with your projects, you just call us and we figure out how we can help you. So, yeah, kind of a red phone.
Very cool.
I will get one.
My red phone never like shuts up. It's constantly ringing.
Ours too, but it's a fulfilling.
Yeah,
we're happy.
Like the Batman thing from the 1960s. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Commissioner.
I'm older.
Yes. All right, so we're at the part of the episode where we're going to play a game, and the game is Babbler Would You Rather, and we're going to ask you a question, and you have to tell us which one you would rather do. You ready?
A ver.
A ver. Vamos a ver la colita. Here we go. So, would you rather have guacamole or salsa?
Guacamole.
Guacamole. All right.
That's an easy one.
I feel like that was an easy
good.
one. Yeah. Would you rather have tacos or empanadas?
¿Empanadas de qué?
Eso.
De lo que
has to be
de
specific.
queso,
de
empanada
lo
de
que sea.
pollo,
No, not
de
the sweet ones, because I know they have
espinaca.
sweet ones, like the de pollo.
Empanadas.
Empanadas.
Okay. All right.
Savory.
If you had to choose an empanada, like which one?
De queso.
De queso.
De
Oh, you
queso.
like the queso.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I feel
sounds
like
good.
the only time I don't like the queso is because they don't always fill it the way. And
Correctly?
then yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a quesadilla person, so empanadas will be the next choice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather cumbia or merengue?
Merengue.
All right. So we get
That's a faster
I'm
one.
Dominican Puerto Rican. I go off. All right. Telenovelas or movies? Movies? That's a good one. Pozole or menudo?
Pozole.
Pozole?
Yes.
De pollo.
De pollo, verde.
Sí, claro.
Yes.
All right. Would you rather have tacos for breakfast every day or tamales for dinner every night?
Tamales for dinner every night.
No.
Yeah.
¿De qué?
I feel like I would have went with that.
De pollo.
De pollo?
De verdes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would have went with that. I don't know about tacos for breakfast every morning.
That kind of sounds nasty, actually.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
It's
I
just-
love tacos, but not for
Our
breakfast.
producers
Well,
looking at
taco
us
de
like
huevo
we're
mainly.
insane.
Yeah, taco de huevo.
Oh, we didn't specify
Yeah, but
what
they
kind
didn't
of tacos.
say
actually.
breakfast tacos. So I'm assuming that they were talking
De
about taco
carne
de res,
asada,
al
de
pastor,
pollo,
or
del
something like
pastor,
that.
yeah.
No, I need my coffee.
Yeah. All right. Would you rather telenovela's dramatic stare
Uh-huh.
or the telenovela obnoxious cry?
No, dramatic stare.
The dramatic stare. Oh, she gave it too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
I'm good at that
was
one.
actually really good. She was like ding ding ding.
Exacto.
That's
I'm good at that
crazy.
one.
All right. Let's see. Accidentally spilling mole on your white shirt or stepping into guacamole with your favorite shoes.
No, the guacamole with my favorite shoes. Mole,
Would you still eat it after you stepped in it?
You have to eat it too? I thought you just step on it or that's stain.
It's just like, hey, 5 second rule for step. No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
That's not an option. But
That's not an option.
That is funny. I added to it.
the mole would stain forever, huh?
Yeah,
it doesn't come off.
Yeah, the mole will not come off.
Yeah.
Hey,
Watch
mancha,
out.
mancha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've only eaten mole once. What is mole?
Okay, so mole is a paste that is made out of different chiles and chocolate. So, and
Okay.
it depends on the region, the kind of chiles that you have. So it could be like mole negro, mole de olla, mole verde. Now I'm hungry.
I think I had the mole. We have a real serious problem with that on this show. I think I had the mole. It was like a dark. It looked like
They're all
like
kind
a-
of dark brown.
Yeah.
Oh, is it a dark brown? They're
It
all
is
of
dark
it.
brown, but it could be black too. So you can go
Yeah.
depending on
Interesting.
Puebla or Oaxaca.
I actually
style.
don't like mole.
It is. It's a
don't know
very.
why.
You gotta acquire. The
I
taste.
chose it as a dinner. We went to a restaurant that was in Boylan Heights, and I chose that because somebody said it was a really good choice.
La
And it was-
Casita
How was
Mexicana
it?
has very good one. La Casita Mexicana is good.
Okay,
La
I don't think
Guelaguetza
that
has a
was the. I
different
don't
one.
think that was the name.
Did
of
you
the-
like it though, or it was okay?
It was okay.
It's a little sweet.
It's an acquired taste, like
Yeah.
she said. It's definitely an
Yeah.
acquired taste. Like you have to. It grows on you as you eat. But if you're not the type of person that likes that kind of like that type of flavor, because it's got a unique flavor. It's not like it's.
Yeah, but there are good places in town where you can find different kind of moles.
Yeah.
So.
Last question I wanted to add: unpopular opinion of dishes you do not like.
Oh, I don't like menudo.
I don't like it. We talked about this last week too.
See, I'm Puerto Rican Dominican. Menudo is a band of 5 kids
I want to ban menudo.
that was touring the
Let's
entire
cancel
world. I'm like Ricky Martin.
Oh my
you know?
God.
You're the second guest that says that, and I agree.
Yeah, we should speak.
Okay, so now speaking from
slash
not an
Puerto Rican.
intelligent side of this, what is menudo?
It's mondongo.
Oh, really? Menudo is mondongo?
Yeah, it's tripe.
I
It's
didn't
like
know that.
really hard to chew.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just
no.
No,
meat.
it's not. It has
like-
to be really well cooked.
I don't.
I know that because it was one of my grandmother's main dishes that my uncle used to love it. And I will taste
And,
it.
and you're
It's not my
100%
thing.
sure that mondongo is
It's
just
the
like menudo.
stomach of the
Yeah,
of
the
cow.
stomach.
Oh.
It's really kind of like hairy.
I don't know. When my mother makes it,
When
or my
you
grandmother
watch-
makes it,
when
that
you
thing was so
wash it,
soft.
It's supposed to be like kind of like very. How is it? It's not leathery.
I will agree, though, that the texture is not probably
It's
a fan
nasty.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's but you have to wash it and then it looks like velvety white kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
what about
With little
tacos de
heels.
lengua, de tripas, and all that stuff? No.
I used to eat liver.
Cancel tacos de lengua.
See, I'm glad that in my
Let's
culture
cancel.
it's just pork and chicken and mofongo and like plantains, and we
Yeah,
just
but the
I would be happy with that.
mondongo is.
we should go to Caribbean cuisine one day. And go get tres golpes.
Oh, there you go.
I took Nostalgic Latino
You always
and
talk about
Alexander. Hey, I'm
What's tres
supporting my
golpes?
people. Tres golpe is mashed plantain.
I love that.
Yeah, sometimes
And then
people get
it's got a
panza.
salchichon that's like amazing. It's got fried cheese. It's got an egg, and then they put red cebollas on top. Oh,
Oh, I'm in.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my kind of food.
one day we're gonna have to just lo vamos a tener.
Yeah.
Right after this, we're gonna schedule it. We'll go support. She just opened up a restaurant, so it's really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had a food
Oh.
truck, and
Give them a shout out. Who is
Improving,
it?
yes.
Caribbean cuisine. The Instagram, I believe it's Caribbean _
K,
cuisine
right?
with a K. So, and everybody calls her Tia. Because
Hey,
she's
excellent.
everybody's
We're
on.
going.
She's
So-
rooting. We're rooting for her then.
Yeah, we were there last weekend. I gotta go back.
Pastelitos.
They sell everything.
Oh.
Maduros, tostones. Oh my goodness. The-
I'm
Bless you,
going.
bless
they
you.
also
Can
sell
we cut that out?
Yeah, we'll
Vicks. Apparently,
I'm sorry.
she's got Vicks over there. You know, some Fortimal
I
for
couldn't
that.
help it. I'm sorry.
So, all right. So, if people wanted to follow you and NALIP, where would they go?
NALIP.org. That's our
NALIP.org?
Instagram. Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
We
What-
post there all different kinds of very useful information from stats, projects, events, everything in between.
So, what if they want to follow you personally?
Yes, Luna Diana 29.
Luna Diana 29.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't ask
Why
me
the 29?
That's my birthday.
You imagine?
She's like forever 29.
She's
Forever
like, forever 29.
Yeah, that could be true.
So again, really appreciate and thank you for being a sport and playing the game. That was actually pretty cool.
That was fun.
So and educational for those of you who didn't know anything like I don't when it comes to those specific type of foods. Very cool. But that's our show, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Todo Latino Show here at 1500 Live. I am Rafael. That is Daisy. That is Yobi. That is Diana Luna. And you can follow us at Todo Wafi, at Todo Latino Show. Check us out on YouTube and all of your favorite listening apps. And keep in mind, Revolucion is almost 2 months away. Get your tickets now. We've actually customized your experience so you can actually buy specific panels and seminars. Make sure you join us at the Gala Night and the comedy show with Ida Rodriguez. Nice. And again, if you see me at the event, please say hi. If I run away, it's probably because you're scary. But again, thank you for joining us, and we are out.